So as the one who feared standing, the time of standing and the place of standing in front of his master, Jannatan, there are two gardens. The conversation is now switching to paradise. But look at the beauty of the transition. The point of the last few ayat was to scare me. When I was reading them, I'm supposed to be scared. And then Allah uses that same motivation of fear and says, if that scared you, and the idea of standing in front of me in that huge crowd and the criminals being dragged away, if all of that scares you, whoever got scared, congratulations, point achieved, you get two gardens. In other words, even the sentiment, the motivation, or the emotion of fear in the Qur'an, Allah rewards it with Jannah, because that was the point of telling you about hellfire, to qualify you for Jannah, to get you into Jannah. This is actually iterated several places in the Qur'an, as though Allah created us to be rewarded. He wanted to show us mercy, not to punish us. And even when He talks about punishment, it's to motivate us so we can be further qualified for His rewards. Now a little bit about the word Rabb. Rabb. Rabb is someone who has authority over you, absolute authority over you. So you're going to stand in front of someone who you were answerable to all along. You know, Allah has authority over us even now, but we're not answerable to Him right now. I get away with things and I don't have to answer to Him. It's not like an employer. I show up late, I have to explain myself that very day, the moment I walk into the office. I miss a couple of days of class, I have to explain myself to the school and the administration. There's whatever authorities you have now, you're answerable to them now. But if there was one day set, and every transgression you're going to be answerable, and I'm going to be answerable to Allah all at once, that's a terrifying prospect. All of the violations on a daily basis, completely accumulated, nothing missed out, and you have to stand in front of Him. That's sort of a person, their fear, that sentiment drives them to be a better person. Allah forgives their mistakes, and Allah offers them two gardens. So Allah says, ذَوَاتَا أَفْنَانٍ. First thing you'll notice when you walk into Jannah, you'll notice massive, massive branches. The trees haven't even been described. You are lost in the branches. You're looking up and you see these massive branches. And of course, because they're massive branches, it implies they're huge, humongous trees that are lined up. Now when trees are like that and their branches are intertwined, you can imagine there's a walkway, there's trees on both sides, and they're humongous and they're covering the top of it also. And you're just kind of mesmerized by the size of these gorgeous trees. Driveways, you know what they do? They make the end of the walkway or the driveway, they make the end of it invisible. You don't know what's around the bend. What's covering your view? The trees are. The trees kind of create a mystery of what lies ahead. So the first thing you're appreciating is this greenery, these magnificent branches. And of course, if you see branches in Jannah, what must you see on the branches? Leaves and what? Fruit. You must see fruit too. But because these are huge branches, can you imagine that they are low or high? They're high. Large branches must mean it's a big tree, and bigger the tree, the higher they get. So you see way up there, you see some fruit hanging. But you're still not thinking about fruit, you're still like exploring Jannah, so you go further. فِيهِمَا عَيْنَانِ. You go further, you find in both of those gardens, you find waterfalls. 2 waterfalls each, which means 4 waterfalls altogether. Each Jannah has 2 waterfalls to it. Now, you're in your own park, your own garden. And when you say garden nowadays, people think of like a little backyard orchard type thing, where you water some plants and put a little artificial thingy, you know, and we'll leave a statue on the side, and that's your little garden. This is like, you would think of it as like a national park. It's humongous. And you walk over, and by the way, if you know, those of you who live in California or, Washington or other states that have a lot of natural beauty, unfortunately, and Dallas is a little short on that end, but if you do live in those kinds of places, the waterfall's always busy. There's always people there. You can never take a picture with like nobody behind you. There's always somebody there. It's the most like scenic thing to go see a waterfall. This is your own waterfall. This is your own waterfall. And you go, and you don't have to like get up, Muslims when they go for Eid, everybody else is there in the park too, and we only get a place by like the dumpster in the parking lot, and then it's in the state park. But actually no, here you get your own space, right by the water. Aynani tajriyani. Water that is softly flowing, running water. Running water. What do kids do when they see running water? Oh, they run to it. They run to it. And you and I, when we read these ayat, we shouldn't just think about being in Jannah by ourselves. Because that's lame. I mean, we want to be in Jannah, but we want to be in Jannah with our family. Any great place you go to, when you go to by yourself, is boring. Jannah won't. Then you start wondering what kinds of fruits are there. And Allah says in both those gardens you're going to find all kinds of fruits. Kulli fakihatin. I told you before, fakiha means a fruit that makes you smile. Every single fruit in Jannah is going to be tasty. And not tasty by somebody else's standards. Because in this dunya you like some fruits, you don't like some fruits. I can't stand coconut, for example. I can't do it. Feels to me like eating paper, so I can't do it. Okay? Yeah. I can't stand it. But I love grapes, strawberries, other fruits I like. Other fruits I find very sour, some other people like them. In Jannah, every fruit that goes into your mouth is like the most favorite fruit you've ever had. And you're like, oh, this is it right here. Oh, give me another one of these. Then you order another one of those. The other one shows up. You take a bite of that. And like, no, this one. I mean, I thought it's like the last one. But this right here is the stuff. It gets better every time. And you're like, but this is the same as the last one, but it's better. وَأُتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا. It'll appear the same to them, but it won't be. It'll look like, give me more of that stuff. The more of that stuff is better than the last stuff. SubhanAllah. It keeps getting better. Min kulli fakihatin. And then Allah mentions zawjan. You'll have two variations of every fruit. Regular and diet for every fruit. You get two variations on every tree. SubhanAllah. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Now, you found the fruit, you found the waterfall, the trees are beautiful, the fruits are up there. Time to chill somewhere. مُتَّكِئِينَ اتَّكَأَ يَتَّكِئُ اتِّكَاء is to lean back. عَلَى فُرُشٍ on these rugs that are laid out. And on those rugs there are cushions. Cushions outdoors by a waterfall. You don't have to worry about, dust. You wouldn't put an expensive rug in the backyard. It's crazy. But this is the outdoors in Jannah. You don't have to worry about dust. The rugs are laid out outdoors. So you can chill, relax. And then you lean on cushions. And when I read this ayah of leaning on cushions, I think of my mother. I think of my aunts. I think of basically Pakistani aunties. I think of them. You're free to think of Egyptian aunties and Syrian aunties and Bangladeshi aunties if you want. I think of Pakistani aunties. Why? Because Pakistani aunties, when they go to somebody's house and they sit on a couch, they survey the material. Uska material bada acha hai, to zara kahan se liya ye? Like they survey the material. What is this? And they sit on a cushion and they look in the back, made in China. But then, or they'll open up the zipper, stick their hand in, like, oh, goose feathers. This is nice. Zip it up and put it back. They like to check everything out. You just scope the house out. It's really fun to watch, actually. Like if you